and I'm a nonpartisan person. So this is a hard speech to give because it's a very partisan issue. But I would remind you that, and all of you are way too young to remember, but as Americans we looked at Tiananmen Square and we watched young Chinese students gather in the square in front of, and it's a government square, to protest the lack of rights that they had and the inequalities in their society, and basically to let the government know that there were people who really did care, wanted to see change. If you come up to last spring, and we had people in Egypt and Tunisia and in all of these Mideast countries, and what were we doing? We were rooting them on. Yeah, you go. You tell them there are inequalities and we need to do something about those inequalities. And if it takes going into the street and being there in a large group and saying we're not going to take it anymore, you get the attention of the government. And sometimes it was really messy and sometimes it was really awful. And it is today in Syria. Sometimes it can be very, very serious in terms of the way that government responds to that kind of call to action for change. But I would tell you that people have the right to say when they see things are wrong. And I think what we stand for in JSA is, if you think that things aren't going right, or that somebody has come up and made a stand that you think goes against your core values, and you see that you can make a statement about that, not only do we have the right to do that, we have an obligation to do that. We have an obligation to come up and say how we feel and throw it out there and hope that it gains traction and that people will follow us and they will make changes. And I watched, you mentioned the violence, I watched last night on television and I saw an unarmed man wanting to walk down the street and the Oakland police not letting him and beating him onto the ground with their batons, unarmed, not doing anything. That's not my America. Is that your America?